right.
Yes,
So
sir.
I guess I was getting too deep.
The
So,
people cut your channel.
you know how that go.
They cut
But
your channel out.
yeah, but anyway, sensitive subject. So like I was saying, Senator, the fact is that, people talk a lot, bring awareness, but they don't really understand what the action is. To get a law passed is actually the only end result that's going to help to change things. And a lot of laws that were passed by those that had slaves probably need to be changed anyway. So what you've been up to this last week, what laws you've been fighting for, because that's what you do on a weekly level. I was saying before, you actually leave your house for a week just to go fight and get laws passed, and that was dangerous.
Yeah.
You done caught COVID doing it.
Yeah.
State building, or at least it seemed that way. But it feels like you put your life on the line for everybody else, and I think there should be awareness brought to that. You know what I'm saying?
No, absolutely, man.
What's at hands? What you fighting for this week?
Man, I got to shout out my wife, man, because while I'm gone all week, she here holding it down with the kids.
Yep.
Making sure they doing their schoolwork and all that type of stuff, man. So she's been doing that for 4 years.
Right.
I got reelected in my second term. So, mad shout out to Crystal and thank you.
Well,
for love and support.
A lifestyle, being a superhero, bro.
Yeah. No, that's real talk, man. Man, this past week, we just, like I told you in the first segment of this, just been recovering from the national landscape of the attack on the Capitol. Because we know, as the FBI has indicated, that it's going to eventually spill off into the other 50 states.
I think they want that smoke because it made us look a little soft to the rest of the world. And to me, it's almost like, if I'm a criminal and I'm going to go rob a bank, I ain't telling everybody what bank I'm going to rob and when I'm coming. You know what I mean? So it feels like they just made themselves so hot. And especially the aggressive way I think they may get handled based on, overcompensation because of the embarrassment of running up in that building. It wouldn't be wise to be silly like that, to be running up trying to be all crazy like that. And you ain't going to make such a big deal with them little pipe bombs and all that. And I don't think there's nobody so committed that they're going to unibomb and all that. I just feel like they hot now. It's like the new just say no to racism is going to be the new. They the new terrorists, and I don't think they that terrible. I mean, like, they are that terrible. They don't terrorize the same way. Like, nobody's scared. It's just ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like, you tell us, is it on site or not? Let me know. You know what I'm saying?
But just how Congress didn't let them stop them from certifying the election, we can't let them stop us from handling business day to day.
Absolutely.
And you got state capitals shutting down for the threat or the fear of potential threat of this happening again. So, so
it's funny, they're not scared of us like
that way.
They're not scared of us like that at all. That's what's crazy. We never did no like that.
Exactly. So the stuff that we've been fighting for this year, just starting out, number one has been education. All right. So in the state of Indiana, there was a law that says that if a school doesn't attend school in person 100% of the time in physical school structures, they don't get 100% of their state funding. They only get 85% of their bread.
So let me just make sure that's understood. So you're saying that there's a law that if the kids ain't physically going to school, they're doing school from home, then the school's not entitled to the federal funding.
The state funding, yeah.
The state funding, I'm sorry. The state funding.
Yeah.
And that's the law that you're going to fight right now.
Yeah, absolutely. We're trying to ensure that 100% of their state funding goes to that local district.
I'm sure there's something the OSG could do. Just let us know if you need an opinion from those principals. I'm sure Dennis will get that together and give you a real opinion from 90 principals real fast if you need it.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. Shout out to OSG. Mad love for them.
That doesn't seem fair, Yeah.
And
so what's the process now? What's the process there?
So anytime a bill is created, and let me share how a bill is created. So you and I, we've done it, right? When I was at the studio last year, we were talking about diabetes.
Absolutely.
We were talking about the impact, but also the cost of insulin.
Yep.
And I was telling you, I met two sisters that testified in the committee, and they told me, they said, look, our insulin costs so much that we got to ration it.
Yeah, remember you was telling me that. They
Yeah.
got, sometimes one might not be able to get a shot because the other one got to get it.
You take it this day, I take it the next day.
So you can't basically, because I'm diabetic, that means you don't eat carbs this day because you're not getting a shot. Because that basically means you can't eat that day, bro. Or you can't eat nothing with carbs because you can't require putting any insulin in your body.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't even go that deep. They just talked about the medicine. So the bill that I'm proposing,
they got to know what that day looks like. That day looks terrible.
Yeah.
That means I can't eat if I'm hungry because I can't compensate with a shot.
Wow.
Yeah.
But for example, that alone is two medicines that we're trying to get a price control over. We're trying to make sure that we cap the cost of insulin out of pocket, right?
Yeah.
So we want to make sure you don't pay any more than $50 out of copay out of pocket.
Now, I was talking to a young lady yesterday that just came home from jail, and I was like, they need to talk to you. They're from Chicago. Mm-hmm. And what people need to understand is if you get a law passed in the state and it works well for the state, it sets a precedence for it to be passed as a law through the rest of the country. So it's important that if there's Canada that can at least get it acknowledged that, you know, we actually let you know and you could go get it passed, they can see it work, and then it can be something that can affect the whole country. Yep. You know?
That's how it works, man.
Now,
a lot of states will kick things off and it just kind of snowballs across the country.
Now, you were telling me about this issue of in the workplace, no accountability if somebody catches COVID. A law trying to be passed so that if you work in a workplace and everyone's acting a little crazy, no one's enforcing any COVID rules, and then someone catches it, that no one at the workplace or that owns that spot is accountable.
It's called civil immunity.
Right.
Civil immunity. So what they're saying, they're trying to propose a law, which I'm against. Right? Now, it might be some small business owners that feel differently. But my concern is if we grant civil immunity to businesses and they're reckless in terms of not requiring 6 feet distance, not requiring masks, and not obeying the CDC guidelines, and one of their employees catch COVID, they should be held responsible. But this law that they're pushing for and they're trying to get is saying you can't file a lawsuit as an employee on that company.
Now check it. I'm a person that has a business, and I made 3 movies, documentaries, magazines, and, you know, fortunately, knock on wood, in the workplace, no one has been caught with the COVID. You know, and it would behoove me for that law not to get passed, but I think as a human being, it should get passed.
Right.
I think that, you know, if you have a workplace and you expect people to make your dreams come true, you need to keep them safe.
Exactly.
If you want another amazing video with the one and only Dame Dash, check it out right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.